Stop scrolling. Something sacred is about to be revealed. The 22nd of August is not just a date, it is a spiritual alarm clock, and you were marked to hear it. This message carries urgency, not hype. What you're about to hear may be removed, resisted, or silenced because it holds the blueprint for something heaven is ready to release into your life. That's why you didn't find this video by chance. You were summoned, called by the Spirit, drawn by divine gravity. The prophecy for the 22nd of August is real, and the moment to receive it is now. What if one day held the power to unlock every delayed miracle you've been praying for? What if your silent whispers have already echoed through the heavens, and this is the day of divine reply? The 22nd of August isn't ordinary. It's encoded with fulfilled promises, supernatural answers, and a sacred shift in your timeline. In biblical terms, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarries. Wait for it, because it will surely come. Habakkuk 2-3. Drop 777 the comments if your spirit already feels the pull of this prophetic moment. And to every soul who's supported this journey, whether through super thanks or silent prayers, thank you. You're not just supporting content, you're standing in agreement with a movement of God. Stay close. What you're about to witness could alter everything. Don't miss a second. Your spirit is about to recognize the moment it was born for. Now let's go deeper. Because the 22nd of August is not coming, it's already here. God's chosen ones. The prophecy for the 22nd of August is real. Watch before it's taken down. August has been vibrating with divine signals long before your eyes could perceive them. While most only see numbered dates on a man-made calendar, heaven sees coordinates, divine timestamps encoded with instruction, transformation, and fulfillment. The 22nd of August is not just a number. It is a holy hinge on which your destiny turns. In heaven's architecture, there are days that act like doors. This is one of them. Have you ever sensed that something monumental was on its way, even when your surroundings looked ordinary? What if this is the day that shifts everything, but only for those who are watching with spiritual eyes? The blueprint was drafted before you were born. Psalm 139:16 reminds us, "All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." That includes the 22nd of August. This isn't a coincidence. It's choreography. You have been led through seasons of delay, not as punishment, but as preparation. Like Joseph in the pit before the palace, you were hidden to be positioned. You've cried through nights no one saw. You've battled silence, unanswered prayers, and invisible ceilings. And yet here you are, still standing, still believing, still waiting, with expectancy laced in your breath. That kind of faith makes heaven move. There's a sacred irony to this moment. You've carried seeds through droughts, smiled while your spirit bled, and waited through silence that felt like abandonment. What if that delay wasn't denial, but a divine decoy to protect what's being prepared for you? Romans 8:28 anchors this truth. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. But here's the warning. Chosen one. Not everyone will walk through this gate. Some will sleep through the shift, others will scroll past their moment, and a few will mock what they don't understand, just as they did in Noah's day, when he built a boat under blue skies. Have you considered whether what you feel as restlessness might actually be divine alertness? Could your discomfort be proof that your spirit already senses a dimensional shift? In nature, harvest follows a strange rhythm. The olive must be crushed to release the oil. The soil must first be broken for roots to grow. The caterpillar dissolves completely before it becomes something unrecognizable. Why should your transformation be any different? To solidify this truth, let's look at the story of Job. A man stripped of everything: family, fortune, and health. And yet, he declared in Job 23:10, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Gold doesn't fear fire, and neither should you. You've endured for a reason. You're being refined for the revealing." In our modern age, the chosen still endure hiddenness before manifestation. Ava DuVernay, an acclaimed filmmaker, once worked as a publicist and didn't direct her first film until age 32. For years, she felt behind, invisible, and underestimated. But she held the vision. She stayed ready. And when the divine timing hit, everything changed. That's what happens when patience meets purpose. But as we marvel at divine resilience, we must also examine the cost of spiritual blindness. Take Elizabeth Holmes. Once hailed as a tech visionary with her startup, Theranos, she built her empire on lies, misused influence, and ignored integrity. And now, instead of walking through legacy gates, she sits in the rubble of deception. Her downfall wasn't just legal, it was spiritual. Proverbs 11:3 warns. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. What are you building your gate on, truth or illusion? Can you feel the shift in the atmosphere right now? Do you sense that what once resisted you is beginning to release you? The gate of the 22nd of August is opening, not for the passive, not for the distracted, but for the watchful. They surrendered, the ones who endured the silence and still chose to trust. Your story is aligning with divine timing. Your endurance has become an offering. Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And the time? It's now. You are no longer waiting for your moment. It has been waiting for you. The gate is open. The prophecy is alive. And the spotlight is shifting to your page. This is your appointed time. Heaven has already said, yes, now the earth awaits your response. Don't delay. Don't look back. Don't doubt what you carried all this time. Stand up, walk through. Because this isn't just a date, it's destiny. In the spiritual dimension, reality often moves before our senses ever catch up. The shaking begins in the unseen before it manifests in the natural. And that's why the 22nd of August isn't about uncertainty, it's about inevitability. There has already been a holy movement. The decree has gone forth. You're not stepping into a possibility, you're stepping into a prophecy that has already been whispered in the halls of heaven. Do you realize what's unfolding around you? Even while nothing seems to be moving, do you feel that quiet internal alignment, that unexplainable calm that doesn't match your circumstances? That's because the blessing is no longer being negotiated, it's being delivered. And yet, not every wish matures into manifestation. The 22nd of August isn't about every random desire, it's about the wish that has endured fire. The one that made you weep in silence while still raising your hands in surrender. The one you whispered through clenched teeth when no one believed in you. The one you buried after disappointment, only for it to resurrect during a midnight prayer when something inside you refused to quit. like the wild fig tree that survives dry seasons by storing water deep in its roots. Your longing didn't die, it just grew hidden resilience, and now, it's time. That kind of wish, the one forged in contradiction and carried in silence, is sacred. It doesn't just grant you something, it changes you. It doesn't satisfy ego, it transforms identity. And that's why this moment is critical. The 22nd of August is not passive. It is a gate disguised as a day. It is a portal built into the fabric of time. Isaías 60:22 declares, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And chosen one. This is that moment. Not because you strived harder, but because you finally aligned. There are dates in the calendar that heaven has marked with fire, and this is one of them. These are moments of acceleration, where the veil is thin, and heaven's frequency is stronger than ever. Have you noticed it? The unusual peace, the people showing up out of nowhere with the exact word you needed, the job you didn't apply for that suddenly opens. That's not luck. That's alignment echoing back to you. Creation itself confirms it. The monarch butterfly doesn't flap its wings in panic. It trusts the wind. It knows migration is hardwired into its being. And you, God's chosen one, have spiritual instincts too. If the trees know when to shed their leaves without panic, why should you fear your transformation? If the tide knows when to rise, why would your breakthrough not know when to arrive? Is it possible that what you thought was delayed was actually choreography? Could your waiting season have been an exact countdown to divine convergence? To affirm this truth, revisit what was said in 2 Kings 4, the story of the Shunammite woman. She prepared a room for the prophet Elisha without asking for anything in return. Her gesture seemed small, but in time, it triggered the impossible, the birth of a child in her barren years, and later, resurrection, when that promise seemed lost. She didn't make room for a man, she made room for prophecy. Have you unknowingly done the same? This moment is charged with prophecy, not potential. You are not just hoping anymore, you are hosting the fulfillment. Ephesians 3:20 affirms this. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. This echoes a powerful moment in the 2016 French Christian drama, The Confession, La Confession, where the priest whispers to a skeptic during war, "Faith is not what you see. It is what you hear when everything goes silent." Just like now, the noise has gone quiet, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is already in motion. Do you hear it? That stillness in your spirit isn't absence, it's confirmation. You may not know how it's going to unfold, but Psalm 37:5 urges you. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will do it. Not might, will. That's a covenant language. What once felt locked, withheld, or forever out of reach is about to feel like it was custom placed in your path, not by accident, but by divine architecture. You won't have to chase. You won't have to explain. You won't need to twist logic or wrestle for affirmation. The key has already been crafted. Your only task is to step into alignment. The 22nd of August is not a date. It is a frequency, a spiritual resonance point, echoing back to the souls who are in tune. In physics, resonance is when an object vibrates at the same natural frequency as another, causing an amplified response. That's what's happening in the spirit realm. Heaven is vibrating at a frequency of fulfillment, and those who are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually aligned will feel the pull. It won't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it arrives as a whisper, a gut instinct, a vivid dream, a repeated number that appears like a signature from the divine, an unexpected opportunity, or an unshakable urge to move boldly. Don't dismiss these nudges. Don't dismiss the whisper just because it doesn't sound like thunder. Elijah didn't hear God in the wind, fire, or earthquake, but in the still, small voice. 1 Kings 19:12. If the prophet had ignored that silence, he would have missed the encounter. Could it be that the very thing you're ignoring is the proof of God's hand? What if that gentle unrest is divine propulsion, not anxiety? This moment is not asking for perfection. It's asking for participation. Your part is to release the baggage that can't come with you. The heaviness, the overthinking, the comparison, the shame, the anger. The vibration of the 22nd of August cannot hold what heaven has already deemed expired. In psychology, this is known as cognitive dissonance, when your outer behavior and inner beliefs are no longer in agreement. Many have been trying to enter the next season while carrying the emotional frequency of their past pain. But the chosen one, this is a portal, and a portal only responds to what matches its frequency. Bitterness is too dense. Doubt is too heavy. Fear is too static. Hebrews 12:1 urges us to throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. What must you throw off to run through this next open gate? This is also your checkpoint, a divine recalibration. Are you speaking in faith but thinking in fear? Are you praying for miracles while mentally rehearsing failure? Is your inner world contradicting what your mouth is declaring? To enter this new space, your posture matters more than your performance. Psalm 5:3 reminds us, "In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly." It is not just the request, it's the expectancy. Heaven responds to expectation, not desperation. In the natural world, we see this mirrored in design. An archway in architecture must be precisely weighted to carry the structure above it. If the tension isn't balanced, the entire doorway collapses under pressure. That's why this spiritual doorway only opens for the soul calibrated with peace, trust, and readiness. Not perfection, readiness. And speaking of readiness, the story of Pope John Paul I, the shortest reigning pope in modern history, known as the Smiling Pope. He was chosen unexpectedly in 1978 and died just 33 days later. But in that short time, he carried a frequency of humility, simplicity, and unexpected spiritual force. He once said, "God is Father, more than mother, and if he rebukes us, it's because he loves us." His short papacy didn't look powerful on paper, but it had eternal weight because his heart was already aligned when the call came. What if your window isn't long but it's loaded? Are you ready when it opens? Ephesians 6:13 gives this final instruction: put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. That's today. That's the 22nd of August. It is not a day to decide. It is a day to step in, armored, aware, and aligned. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be positioned. The vibration has already been set. The blueprint has already been drawn. Now it's your move. Drop the old weight. Release the expired emotions. Clean the inner temple. And walk into the door that no man can shut. Because the 22nd of August is not just the date, it's the doorway. And it's already open. There are moments in spiritual history where heaven doesn't whisper, it summons, and this is one of them. You are not being invited to spectate. You are being summoned to participate. The requirement is not perfection. power, or even complete healing. The requirement is availability. The divine is not looking for flawless vessels, it's looking for willing ones, just like Isaiah, who cried out in Isaiah 6-8, "Here I am, Lord, send me." Your eyes are more potent than your resume. Could it be that your yes is the missing key to the door you've been waiting to open? Could it be that the delay wasn't because you lacked the qualifications, but because the time had not yet matured into its assignment? You don't need to be fearless, you only need to be present. You don't need to be overflowing with confidence, you just need to bring your mustard seed of faith. Matthew 17:20. If you're reading these words, then know this: you are more ready than you've allowed yourself to believe. Your life hasn't followed a typical pattern because your assignment carries atypical weight. You've been prepared in silence, trained in obscurity, and refined in fire. You've been through valleys that had no map, faced betrayals that had no closure, and carried mantles you didn't even ask for. And still, you endured. Why? Because the mission in your life required endurance before exposure. Esther had to undergo 12 months of preparation before being presented to the king. Esther 2:12. David was anointed in private long before he took down Goliath in public. Even Jesus had 30 silent years before his 3 years of open ministry. Heaven doesn't rush glory, it prepares it. And now, the hiding season is over. The divine timing has reached its climax. The restraint has lifted. The doors aren't creaking, they are being flung open. You're about to walk into rooms your trauma told you you'd never reach. Your name is about to be whispered in spaces your resume didn't qualify you for. Are you ready to be seen, not because you forced your way in, but because heaven has called your number? This isn't about naive hope. This is about divine reversal. The kind of reversal spoken of in Joel 2:25, where God says, "I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten." Expect sudden movement. Expect interruptions that are actually introductions. Expect peace where panic once lived, rent-free. Expect divine provision where pressure used to suffocate. In the real world, we've seen this. Ed Catmull, the co-founder of Pixar, was once a computer scientist who dreamed of becoming an animator for years. His dream was delayed, his ideas considered too advanced. But when the industry caught up, his vision changed the world. He once said, "It's not the idea, it's the people who can take the idea and make it work." He was hidden, not rejected, delayed, not denied, just like you. And for every hidden vessel, there's a cautionary tale. Take Carlos Ghosn, the former CEO of Nissan Renault. Once hailed as an unstoppable automotive titan, his hunger for power outgrew his integrity. Secret financial misdeeds and manipulation were eventually exposed, leading to his public downfall and an international manhunt. What looked like elevation was actually erosion. Luke 8:17 warns us, "For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest." When you chase what God hasn't given, the fall will find you. So now, chosen one, ask yourself, what are you expecting? Not in theory, but in posture. Are you preparing for the door to open like it already has? Or are you still dressing for the previous season? There's a holy urgency here. The prophetic portal of the 22nd of August is not waiting for your perfection. It's responding to your positioning. Revelation 3-8 says, "See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." That's not just poetic. That's legal in the spirit realm. No force in hell, no scheme of man, and no echo of past failure can shut what God has now unsealed. The hesitation must end. The doubt must die. The fear must fall. You are already chosen, already called, already prepared. The door is not a dream. It is your current reality waiting for your alignment. Get up. Walk through. Speak louder. Stretch your hands wider. Expect radically. Obey immediately. Because the doors aren't creaking anymore, they're flying open. This is your moment. Walk in. There comes a moment when what you've been carrying in secret finally meets the season it was meant for. And that moment, chosen one, is now. This is alignment. This is what it looks like when time and promise collide, not in theory, but in manifestation. The 22nd of August is that collision point. And nothing about it is casual. What you've endured was not random, it was refinement. Can you feel it in your spirit? That sense that something has changed, not just outside of you, but within you. You are not the same person who began this year. What once broke you now built you. What once confused you now clarifies your purpose. Like the caterpillar that disappears into darkness only to re-emerge as a creature of flight. You were hidden for transformation, not rejection. Have you realized how far you've come, how much has already been shed? The fiery trials you survived weren't just hardships, they were consecrations. The waiting room wasn't a punishment, it was a furnace of formation. Like gold refined 7 times. You have been stripped, pressed, and purified. Psalm 12:6. The weight you carried was not just heavy, it was holy. In nature, the baobab tree, known as the tree of life, stores water in its trunk to survive seasons of extreme drought. It looks swollen, awkward, even overlooked, until famine strikes. Then, it becomes the source for entire ecosystems. Likewise, your silent seasons have been storing what's now about to flow from you. That weight didn't crush you. It clarified you. It didn't disqualify you. It distinguished you. And now, you're being called forward. Isaías 43:19 declares, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? This moment is not just a release. It's a reveal. God isn't just giving you a breakthrough. He's revealing you as the breakthrough. And here's the hard truth. Not everyone can come with you. Some people were only equipped to stand with you during the process, but not in the promise. Like scaffolding that supports the structure during construction, once the building is complete, the scaffolding must be removed. Their role was seasonal, not eternal. Could it be that the discomfort you feel around certain people now is confirmation that their assignment in your life has expired? Could your growth be silently repelling what no longer resonates? Jesus had to withdraw from certain towns and walk away from familiar voices to fully embrace his mission. Mark 6:4-6. Releasing with grace isn't betrayal, it's obedience. As Ecclesiastes 3:1 There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Then, let your gaze return to the calling. Let your focus shift back to the assignment. Don't chase old connections. Don't argue for access. The door has shifted, and so must you. But understand this, the wish being fulfilled comes with weight. This is not just about receiving a miracle, it's about becoming a vessel through which miracles flow. You are not just walking into answered prayers, you are becoming the answer to someone else's. This is why 1 Peter 2:9 says, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession." You were never meant to blend in, you were anointed to break through. That's why the crushing came first. That's why the silence lasted longer than expected. The weight was proof of the glory it was meant to carry. In film, this transformation is echoed in the Italian Christian drama Paolo Borsellino, Essendo Stato, based on a real judge assassinated for standing against mafia corruption. There's a moment where Paolo whispers, "Truth is not safe, but it is sacred." In the same way, chosen one, your assignment may not be safe, but it is sacred. So, now the question becomes, can you stay grounded while being elevated? Can you remain surrendered while being seen? Can you carry both breakthroughs and burdens without forgetting the one who called you? Stay attuned. Stay positioned. Stay humble. Because you're no longer preparing for the breakthrough. You are becoming it. You've crossed the threshold. The alignment is complete. And now heaven is not just pointing at you, it's moving through you. Stand tall. Chosen one. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone was meant to. But the assignment is speaking. The call is alive. And the mantle is yours. Walk boldly. Speak faithfully. Carry the promise with fire. The vibration of this moment isn't casual. It's calculated. The 22nd of August isn't just a date you flip past on a calendar. It's a divine signal pulsing through the atmosphere. A coded acceleration, hidden beneath what looks like normalcy. This day speaks. It nudges. It stirs. It doesn't arrive with fanfare. It arrives like a low-frequency current, felt in the bones before it's seen with the eyes. But only the spiritually attuned will sense it. Are you listening with your soul? Are you responding with trust instead of logic? Are you able to recognize divine movement, even when it comes dressed in silence? This is not just about believing, it's about resonating. In frequency theory, resonance happens when two frequencies are in harmonic alignment, when your internal state begins to vibrate in sync with the external signal. That's what the 22nd of August is. It's a resonant match between time and destiny. If your spirit is open, you will feel it. Before you understand it, you'll be drawn, guided, compelled not by fear, but by supernatural order. You are not late. You are precisely timed. Just because you didn't see the schedule doesn't mean heaven lost it. Psalm 31:15 says, "My times are in your hands." Divine timing isn't always visible, but it is always exact. Could it be that the very pain you prayed away was part of the process pulling you into position? Could the delays you cursed actually be divine edits to prevent a premature reveal? Like a master architect refining a blueprint, God has been calibrating the foundation of your life for something that requires precision. In architectural design, a load-bearing wall must be perfectly positioned, or the entire structure risks collapse. The sacrifices you made, the betrayals you endured, the doors that slammed shut, they weren't structural failures. They were realignments to reinforce the weight of what's coming. Romans 8:18 affirms this. The sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. That wasn't poetic, it was prophetic. You are not just being brought through pain, you are being prepared to carry something that will shift atmospheres. This is a divine intersection, a moment in time where purpose and preparation collide. And though your natural eyes may see routine, your spirit knows something is stirring. Have you noticed the shift within you? The dreams that have intensified, the clarity that suddenly arrived, the peace that no longer needs proof. These are not coincidences, they are calibrations. You are syncing with a timeline, heaven already declared. Neuroscience reflects this. In the brain, neural pathways strengthen with repetition. The thoughts and actions you've cultivated over time have rewired you for new outcomes. The way you pray, the way you speak, the way you wait. All of it has created spiritual reflexes that now align with destiny's rhythm. You are no longer who you were. You are someone ready. And let's not forget, Some of your hardest seasons weren't punishment. They were filtration. Just as clean water passes through layers of sediment to become purified, you've been filtered through rejection, silence, and sacrifice, not to diminish you, but to distill you, like Gideon's army in Judges 7. God reduces before he reveals. To anchor this in present-day reality, Beatrice Fien, a Nobel Peace Prize-winning activist and executive director of ICAN, International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, long before she stood on global stages, she worked in obscurity, advocating through endless documents, quiet lobbying, and small movements. When asked how she endured the slow progress, she said, "We knew change doesn't happen fast, but when it does, it's because of everything that was done in silence." Sound familiar? Your quiet obedience. Your hidden, yes, your unseen sacrifices. They were not wasted. They were compound spiritual interests accruing for a moment, just like this. So here you stand, not in coincidence, but in convergence. What looks like just another Thursday is actually a prophetic portal. Luke 21:28 reminds us, when these things begin to take place, stand up and lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. Are you aware enough to recognize the disguise of destiny? Will you discern the sacred hidden inside the simple? Will you walk through a moment that others might sleep through? Because make no mistake, the 22nd of August is not casual. It is coded. It is weighted. It is yours. Chosen one. This is the moment you were quietly trained for. Don't sleep through it. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't wait for permission to step into what God already prepared. Lift your head. Raise your voice. Match the vibration. What's approaching isn't random. It's revealed time. Step in, because heaven is moving, and so must you. The pruning was painful, and you felt every slice of it. The cutting away of comfort, the shaking of systems, the silence of heaven that made you question your own prayers. But hear this. Chosen one, you were not being punished. You were being positioned. The pain you endured wasn't the end of something, it was the beginning of capacity. God was enlarging your spirit so you could carry what's coming without crumbling. Have you mistaken your cocoon for a coffin? Many do. That tight space, that restricted season where nothing seemed to move, it wasn't your burial ground, it was your birthplace. The 22nd of August is the sound of the shell cracking. The moment wings stretch where wounds once bled. John 15:2 reveals a divine strategy. Every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. That means the pain didn't come because you were unworthy. It came because you were ready for more. You've outgrown the space you've been surviving in. This moment isn't an ending, it's a disguised beginning. A transition cloaked in subtlety. A breakthrough dressed in daily clothing. That's the divine irony. Heaven rarely announces itself with noise. It announces itself with alignment. Are you paying attention to how the pieces are starting to fall into place? The job you never expected to land. The conversation that changed your trajectory. The opportunity that seemed random but felt right. These are not accidents. These are breadcrumbs of divine choreography. Chosen one. You are not behind schedule. You are the schedule. The delay wasn't the absence of movement. It was the building of momentum. The wait isn't waiting to end. It's waiting for you to act. Isaiah 60:1 commands, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, the command is in the present tense because destiny moves in real time. Still doubting? Still wondering if you're worthy to rise? Let the example of visionary Sir Ken Robinson, British author and education reformer, remind you. He was once dismissed by institutions for challenging traditional systems, but he declared, "Human communities depend upon a diversity of talent, not a singular conception of ability." He gave the world permission to stop waiting for standard approval and instead awaken to authentic alignment. His influence reshaped education across the globe. Why? Because he didn't shrink, he expanded. And while expansion births glory, shrinking in moments of divine timing can birth tragedy. Take Mark D. Dreyer, a once celebrated Manhattan attorney who built a multi-million-dollar firm only to be arrested for masterminding a $700 million fraud scheme. He impersonated executives, forged documents, and faked credibility until the entire illusion collapsed. His greed consumed his gift. The result? A 20-year prison sentence and complete professional ruin. Proverbs 11:3 warns us, "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them." No amount of ambition can protect what deception will always destroy. The 22nd of August won't shout. It won't knock down doors with spectacle, but you will feel the shift, the kind that unravels in whispers, in good instincts, in divine ease. Will you recognize it? Will you act on what your spirit knows, even if your eyes can't see it yet? Do you realize that you've been carrying a holy weight meant for this exact moment in history? The rejection, the reduction, the refinement, they were all clues. The detours weren't deviations. They were divine reroutes that led you here. Psalm 126:5 proclaims, "Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy." The tears you wept in the dark were not wasted. They were investments, and harvest is now on the schedule. Now look around. The ground is trembling gently under your feet. Closed doors are creaking open. Conversations are being orchestrated. People are moving into place. Some will leave. Let them. Some will arrive. Welcome them. But you must step forward. The shell is cracked. The soil has shifted. The silence has spoken. This is not a moment to delay. This is the moment to expand. Don't play small when heaven is calling you wide. Don't flinch when God says fly. You've been summoned. You've been prepared. You've been released. Walk boldly. Speak clearly. Move suddenly. Because the cocoon was never the end, it was always the setup. That's how divine transitions begin silently. Then suddenly, the world may not see the build-up, but the Spirit has been feeling the shift long before it manifests. And let me say this with clarity, the 22nd of August is not your lucky break, it's your faithful return. You are not being favored because of chance. You are being favored because of consistency in silence. You held on when nothing made sense. You kept praying when it felt like the heavens were sealed shut. You whispered your faith into rooms filled with doubt. Heaven took note of that. Your tears were not ignored. Your endurance was not invisible. Psalm 56:8 reminds us, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle." Enter one. Now, heaven is answering with acceleration. The 22nd of August is the response to your unshakable yes. You've been heard, you've been seen, and now you are being sent. Can you feel the shift inside you before the evidence shows up around you? This is how divine moments operate. They don't ask permission. They don't wait for applause. They arrive like the tide, quiet at first, but unstoppable once in motion. In nature, the black bamboo grows almost invisibly for years, developing deep underground roots. But when its moment arrives, It can grow up to 35 inches in a single day. That's the acceleration after preparation. And that's what's happening to you. You're not just rising, you're rising quickly. This moment is a divine compression point. It's as if time is collapsing into obedience. Every delay that once made you question is now becoming the very fuel of your elevation. Do you sense how fast things are beginning to shift? The divine current is catching up to the promises that once felt so far away. Romans 9:28 confirms this. For the Lord will carry out his sentence on earth with speed and finality. And as favor increases, your inner atmosphere will respond first. Your thoughts will become clearer. Your discernment will grow keener. Your intuition will ring louder than logic. Why? Because heaven doesn't just bless externally, it awakens internally. Don't be surprised if doors open without effort. Don't be alarmed when conversations shift in your favor without manipulation. This is what it looks like when God's wind begins to move through your life. But here's the critical part. Don't let fear sabotage your answered prayer. Could it be that the very thing you've prayed for is arriving, but fear is disguising it as disruption? Could your breakthrough look unfamiliar because it's wrapped in rapid change? Fear has a way of dressing transformation as threat. But Isaiah 41:10 reminds us, do not fear, for I am with you. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. The God who called you to the shift is already waiting for you on the other side of it. Nature teaches us this rhythm. The Arctic tern. A small bird weighing just 4 ounces makes the longest annual migration of any creature, traveling from the Arctic to Antarctica and back. It doesn't doubt the journey. Even when the sky looks empty, it trusts the wind. So must you. This theme of divine timing is echoed in the 2014 French Christian drama L'Apôtre, the Apostle, where a devout Muslim man begins to experience subtle visions calling him to Christ. When asked if he's afraid of his life changing, he responds, "How can I fear what has already begun inside me?" That's the question for you now. Will you fear what God is already activating within you? Galatians 6-9 echoes this prophetic moment. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And chosen one, this is the proper time. The silence is over. The delay is done. What you planted in pain is rising in power. Heaven has leaned in. The earth is responding. And now, all that's left is your movement. Don't hesitate. Don't resist the rush. Don't shrink when the current lifts. This is not the time to retreat. This is the time to run. The spotlight of favor is turning and it's landing right on you. Sometimes we cry out to heaven for open doors, then flinch the moment the handle turns. Chosen one. Hear this in your spirit. This is not the season to freeze. This is not the time to second-guess your worth, your calling, or your clarity. You are more qualified than your fear would dare admit. You are not only ready, you are required. What if what feels like a whisper is actually a divine strategy? What if the nudge you're tempted to ignore is the beginning of a supernatural cascade? The 22nd of August isn't coming with fireworks, it's coming with divine frequencies, disguised as subtle prompts. And this month will test your faith in quiet, strategic ways. Will you move on a gut instinct? Will you obey the whisper? Will you apply, call, forgive, show up, even when it doesn't fully make sense? Could it be that the small thing you're delaying is the catalyst for the entire promise you've been waiting on? Hebrews 11:8 reminds us that by faith Abraham obeyed when he was called, even though he did not know where he was going. Obedience doesn't wait for clarity, it trusts divine architecture. Each prompting is a spiritual breadcrumb. Each yes is a key. Each action is a gate. And these are not isolated incidents, they are connected. You are walking into a chain reaction, a domino sequence ordained by God to unfold. Once you move, your surrender is setting off a series of events you cannot yet see. In physics, this is known as the principle of quantum entanglement, where two particles, once linked, affect one another instantly, even across great distances. That's what obedience does in the spirit. The moment you resolve to stop begging and start believing, the atmosphere responded. Do you realize the air is already different around you? That strange clarity, that sharp peace, that uncanny timing. These are frequency shifts. Your resolve has created a new resonance, one that invites acceleration, not anxiety. This isn't just about one miracle. It's about momentum, like a finely tuned mechanical gear. When the first wheel turns, it sets others in motion. Your obedience is unlocking someone else's deliverance. Your movement is activating dormant gates. And let's be clear, the universe doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to alignment. That's why Psalm 37:5 says, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act." Not you will act, He will. And as the breakthrough begins to unfold, it may feel unfamiliar. Are you willing to say yes to something that doesn't look like what you asked for, but feels like what you prayed for? This is where the spiritually mature rise. To ground this in the real world, the story of Ruth E. Carter, the first black woman to win an Academy Award for costume design. Before global acclaim, she worked in obscurity, crafting pieces no one saw, dressing stages no one noticed. But she once said, "You have to stay true to the artistry. Even when no one's watching, that's how the door opens." Her faith in unseen excellence created visible impact, and now her designs have shaped cultures, stories, and global imaginations. The door opened because the preparation didn't pause. And when your door opens, there will be no mistaking it. Luke 6:38 declares, "Give, and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." That is the image of overflow, not trickle, nor delay. Overflow. But remember, fear will always try to intercept flow. That's why 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds us, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. This is not the time to sabotage what you asked for because it arrived quicker or quieter than you expected. Chosen one. This is the moment everything begins to respond. The gears are turning, the particles are connecting, the heavens are aligning. Don't let hesitation cancel what surrender has already triggered. Step boldly, respond swiftly, move as if the future is listening because it is. You are not waiting anymore. The wait is waiting for you, and it's time. Some things that used to feed you will now drain you. Some places that used to comfort you will start feeling uncomfortable, and some people who used to celebrate you will now stare in silence. Why? Because the old version of you is incompatible with the atmosphere your new favor requires. Have you been feeling disconnected from what once energized you? That's not spiritual confusion. That's divine clarity. The version of you that survived past seasons cannot survive this one. The elevation coming with the 22nd of August demands release. That's why you can't afford to romanticize what's already expired. The familiar may feel safe, but it's now a spiritual mismatch. Luke 5:36 says, "No one tears a piece out of a new garment to patch an old one. The new garment will be ruined, and the patch from the new will not match the old." So let it fall away. Let it feel strange. Let it be awkward. That shift is sacred. The atmosphere is not rejecting you, it's recalibrating you. And when things start feeling off, that's heaven telling you you're being moved into position. But here's what you must know. Favor attracts friction. When you begin to rise, don't be surprised when certain people shrink back. Your light will expose what others have been able to hide in your shadow. It's not your fault. And it's not your responsibility to dim yourself for their comfort. This is a spiritual law. Joseph didn't ask his brothers to envy him. Jesus didn't provoke the Pharisees to plot. David didn't ask Saul to become tormented by his anointing. It just came with the calling. Have you misinterpreted resistance as rejection, when it was actually proof of your radiance? That's why Matthew 5:11-12 says, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven." Not everyone will be able to walk with you into the next room, and that's okay. Elevation is selective for a reason. Your circle will shrink before your calling expands. This truth was lived out by Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast in history. When she stepped away from competition to prioritize mental health, many criticized her. But in her words, "At the end of the day, I have to do what's right for me." Her alignment became a weapon not just for medals, but for global conversations. She stopped performing for applause and began moving from purpose. That's what rising in alignment looks like. But where some walk forward, others fall prey to ego. Adam Neumann, founder of WeWork, once celebrated as a visionary. His refusal to let go of toxic control and inflated ego led to the collapse of a billion-dollar empire. What could have been a legacy turned into a cautionary tale. Proverb 6:18 reminds us, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." When you refuse to shift, you sabotage the shift. So, chosen one, what if your discomfort is the signal that heaven is stretching your frame to fit a future that's already in motion? What if what you're losing is actually making space for something you couldn't carry otherwise? What if the silence you've felt isn't absence but angelic strategy? Psalm 91:11 promises, "For he will command his angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways." You are not walking alone. There is an invisible army backing your next step. Every detail you don't see is already being arranged by a hand you can't miss. Are you letting go of what's too small to contain your next miracle? Are you still tolerating what has already expired spiritually? You're not just stepping into more. You're becoming more, and as you rise, heaven is holding the scaffolding steady, even if your feet are trembling. You were never made to shrink into spaces you've outgrown. This friction isn't failure, it's formation. Your detachment isn't disobedience, it's divine direction. Don't panic when the old room feels too tight. Don't apologize when your light feels too bright. The room didn't reject you. You're simply being rerouted to your realm. Now, step boldly. Don't look back. You were always meant to rise. This day, the 22nd of August, is not just another date. It's evidence, proof that your journey has not been random. You are not drifting. You are being divinely directed. This is not a coincidence. It's convergence. So what do you do with a day like this? Be still yet bold. Listen yet act. Reflect yet move. Don't rush into it. Don't sleep through it. This is not the kind of day you enter carelessly. Start with reverence. End with gratitude. Every detail matters today. What if your entire life has been preparing you for a single yes today? What if this moment is not asking for performance but for presence? Pay attention to the whispers, to the people who suddenly text you, to the doors that crack open without knocking, to the gut feelings that tug at your peace. These are not distractions. They are divine coordinates. Psalm 32:8 affirms this. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to follow what brings peace. Naught Bunnits. Nature obeys this pattern. The aloe vera plant, though commonly seen as a household remedy, contains its healing only after being cut. It is the wound that activates the cure. In the same way, the places where you were wounded are about to release what heals others. What was painful will now become prophetic. Can you trust your intuition even when logic says, wait? Can you obey the gentle pull of the Spirit even when the evidence hasn't yet caught up? And don't expect applause. This is a sacred contract between you and the divine. Exodus 15:15 says, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Not everything must be explained. Not every revelation needs validation. Protect this moment like a seed. Cover it in silence. Walk it out in obedience. Don't over-explain your shift to those who haven't heard the summons. Some people won't understand until they see the harvest, and by then, the fruit will speak on your behalf. That's why Jesus told the healed leper in Luke 5:14, don't tell anyone, but go. Show yourself. It wasn't about hiding, it was about honoring the process. Let the results speak. Let the light reveal. Let the evidence do the talking. Have you noticed the inner stillness growing louder than the outer noise? That's confirmation. It's alignment. And alignment will often feel lonely before it feels liberating. Stay grounded. Stay faithful. Stay close to the voice that led you here, like the Arctic fox, which adapts its fur color with the seasons to stay protected and hidden until the right moment. It's not always about being seen. It's about being prepared to move at the exact time your purpose requires. This quiet sacredness is echoed in the 2022 Romanian Christian film Miracle, in which a young nun leaves her convent on a mysterious mission. When asked why she doesn't speak more openly, she responds, the truth doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to arrive. And chosen one, your truth is arriving. Get strong. Unapologetics. Hebrews 10:35-36 urges us, do not throw away your confidence, it will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what He has promised. And this is the promise, that your faith, forged in secret, will now speak louder than effort, that your alignment will carry what striving never could, that your yes will ripple through rooms you haven't even walked into yet. This is the moment your bones knew before your eyes saw. This is the day your spirit was rehearsing for in silence. Don't shrink. Don't explain. Don't wait for consensus. Move. Walk. Declare. Obey. Let peace be your compass. Let stillness be your strategy. Let favor find you in motion. And when it does, don't question it. Just walk in it, because the door is open, and the yes is already waiting. You'll feel it. Before the evidence arrives, before the doors swing open, before the world takes notice, you will sense it in your spirit, a knowing that cannot be explained, only obeyed. This is not imagination. This is alignment, and chosen one. You didn't miss it. You're right on time. You're not floating. You're not stuck. You're being deployed. You'll recognize the feeling, a subtle vibration in your bones, a flash of memory of a dream you had years ago, now brushing against reality like a prophecy in slow motion. But this is not a slow season anymore. This is the tipping point. And here's what makes this moment so weighty. You don't have to force it. The doors are not opening because you pushed them. They're opening because your assignment has matured, because heaven said. Now, in Isaiah 43-19 speaks this clearly. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? The perception comes before the proof. The spirit feels it before the eyes see it. August doesn't just hold your wish. It holds your wings. Wings don't just indicate breakthrough, they signify mobility, spiritual altitude, and unstoppable access. The kind of shift taking place on the 22nd of August isn't something small. It's a spiritual earthquake, divinely calculated and architecturally sound. It was drawn in heaven long before your birth. And now it's reaching manifestation. What if the tremors you're feeling are not instability, but spiritual construction? What if God is rebuilding you with earthquake-proof materials because of the weight of what you're about to carry? You've been trained for stillness, but now you're being released into motion. You're not being shaken to break, you're being shaken to be positioned. Let's take this further. In psychology, there's a concept called neural adaptation. The brain begins to ignore things it's been exposed to repeatedly, and many people have grown numb to delay, desensitized to waiting, but not you. You've remained sensitive. You've kept praying. Keep tuning in. That sensitivity is a gift, and it's how you're going to recognize divine timing before anyone else can label it. Psalm 102-13 says, "You will arise and have compassion, for the appointed time has come." There is such a thing as a divine schedule, and you're not late to it. You've just arrived at the coordinates where it activates. Now hear this clearly. This is not a season of postponement. This is a moment of prophetic permission. All your life, you've asked for signs. You've fasted. You've cried. You've begged for confirmation. And God, in His mercy, gave it. But now He's asking you to move without a map. Not because He's cruel, but because He trusts your preparation, like Abraham, who left everything familiar, not because he had a plan, but because he had a word. Hebrews 11:8. You are being called to go, even when you don't know exactly what's on the other side. And that obedience is more powerful than 1,000 rehearsed steps. To drive this home, let's look at a real-life example rarely spoken of in spiritual spaces. Ursula Burns, the first black woman CEO of a Fortune 500 company, Xerox. Born in a New York housing project to a single immigrant mother, she said, "Dreams do come true, but not by magic. They come true through hard work, determination, and the belief that you are worth the effort." But what most people don't know is that Ursula didn't follow the traditional leadership track. She moved from engineering to executive leadership, not by force, but by alignment. She responded when others hesitated. She stepped forward when the path wasn't clear. That's prophetic obedience in the business realm. Could it be that the doors are already open, but you're still waiting for a green light that's already been given? Could the delay you feel be more about your own hesitation than heaven's schedule? Romans 13:11 rings loudly in this hour. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. You're not being held back. You're being launched. And if you dare to move in sync with this vibration, things will accelerate that once resisted you. This is not delay. This is deployment. You are not on hold. You are on assignment. No more overthinking. No more negotiating. No more dragging your feet while heaven calls your name. You are the one. This is the hour. The gate is open. The anointing is active. The prophecy is in motion. Walk in it. Run if you must. But whatever you do, don't look back. This is not a season of passivity. This is a season of participation. The 22nd of August is not about sitting back and hoping, it's about stepping forward and receiving. You're not waiting for the right conditions. The conditions are waiting for you. But to fully grasp this moment, there is something sacred you must understand. Your presence on this earth has always been intentional. You weren't born into this generation by chance. You weren't given your unique combination of pain, power, and prophetic clarity as some cosmic experiment. You were formed by design. Psalm 139:16 declares, "All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." Every detail, every detour, every delay was part of divine authorship. Even your silence was sacred. Even your struggle had structure. The 22nd of August is a divine checkpoint in that holy script. This is not about earning a miracle. This is about arriving at what was already assigned to your name. The door isn't opening because of what you've achieved. It's opening because of who you've endured into becoming. Let's be clear. No man can cancel what heaven has ordained. No system can block the blessing. No betrayal can reverse the alignment. This favor is pre-forged. It was written into your destiny before your first breath. But here's the deeper truth. Endurance is not just survival. It is spiritual evidence of worthiness. You were tested, stretched, overlooked, broken, and even buried under the silence of waiting seasons. But you didn't break. You remained. And that remaining, that faithful clinging to hope when nothing in your environment looked like the promise, that's what positioned you. That's why this isn't just a reward. It's a revelation. To show how divine timing rewards character, consider Sister Helen Pregin, the Catholic nun whose decades of quiet advocacy for death row prisoners led to national impact. She didn't chase the platform or power. She obeyed her calling in obscurity. And in time, her integrity made room for her voice to echo in places of authority. As she once said, "I watch what I do to see what I believe." But contrast that with Adam Neumann, the former CEO of WeWork, once hailed as a revolutionary visionary, le charisma outrun character. He built a culture of hype with no spiritual foundation, promising communal purpose while personally profiting at reckless levels. His downfall was sudden and humiliating. He lost credibility, billions in valuation, and the legacy he thought was untouchable. Why? Because favor without internal alignment will always collapse under the weight of exposure. Are you cultivating private truth or public illusion? Are you walking in hidden obedience or public image management? Are you ready for the spotlight to reveal what you've become? Because the 22nd of August doesn't respond to popularity, it responds to purity. You don't need to strive anymore. You already proved your trustworthiness by not quitting, and now the spiritual gavel is falling in your favor. The orchestration of your life is not random. It is symphonic. The tests were the dissonant notes that set up your triumph. This, the 22nd of August. Heaven is not asking for your performance. It's rewarding your posture. The one you held in the wilderness, the one you kept while you were still bleeding. And now, the trumpet is sounding. The release is real. The prophecy is public. And the moment, it belongs to you. Walk into it. Something sacred is happening. And it's happening fast. What once felt like concrete walls now feels like paper doors. Conversations that used to shut you out are now inviting you in. Opportunities that seemed impossible are now flowing with such grace it almost feels surreal. But this is not luck. It's not manipulation. It's not striving. This is alignment, the divine resonance that occurs when your spirit, your season, and your assignment finally agree. Do you feel it? that strange sense that something is working in your favor before you even speak. That's not just intuition, it's divine orchestration. And here's the truth. When you are properly aligned with God's frequency, you no longer chase, you attract. You no longer push doors open, they respond to your presence. Isaiah 45:2 reminds us of this promise. I will go before you and make the crooked paths straight. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron. That is what you're experiencing. Gates are not just opening. They're being shattered because they were never meant to hold you back. Some people are about to enter your life not by accident, but by divine assignment. They won't always come with fireworks. Some will arrive like a whisper, like the wind brushing through unseen branches, but they'll shift something in your soul. Don't overlook the small encounters. Be sensitive. Be watchful. The Holy Spirit often moves in subtleties. Just as when Elijah stood on the mountain, the Lord wasn't in the earthquake or fire, but in the gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:11-12. And nature understands this. The peach tree offers a quiet parable. Its fruit is celebrated, but few see the long, disciplined process it requires. It blossoms early in spring, vulnerable to late frost, delicate under pressure, yet it persists, growing sweeter the longer it ripens. Its harvest doesn't scream for attention. It comes in silence and abundance when the season is right. Just like you, chosen one, you've been blossoming quietly, enduring unpredictable conditions, but now the season of sweetness is arriving. John 15:2 declares, every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. The pruning wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Cinema reflects this moment. In the European film of Gods and Men, Brother Christian says with unshakable clarity, we are called to live, not to survive. And that's your spiritual charge right now. You're not here to merely survive another cycle of disappointment or delay. You've been chosen to live deeply, to walk freely, to build boldly in alignment with what heaven already wrote over your life. Now is the moment when your discernment becomes your compass. You've been trained in silence. You've wept behind closed doors. You've sharpened your senses by necessity. This sensitivity is not a flaw, it is a tool. Romans 8:14 says, for all who are led by the Spirit of God are sons of God. And you're being led not into confusion, but into clarity, into connection, into rooms. Your name was whispered in long before you entered them. And if you're wondering, but how will I know which opportunity is mine? The answer is this: the right ones will feel like home, not because they're perfect, but because your spirit will recognize them. Your soul will breathe around them. They won't require performance, only presence. Psalm 37:23 reminds us again. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. You're not guessing, you're being guided. Chosen one, the gates have turned. The page is flipping. You're not knocking anymore, you're walking through. This is your moment to rise, to build, to bloom. Don't shrink back. Don't dim down. The shift has your name on it. Stand up, step in, and claim what heaven already released. The right ones, the right people, the right environments, the right assignments will stretch you, but never snap you. They will challenge you to rise, but never require you to shrink. They will call out your purpose without demanding the death of your authenticity. And as the 22nd of August draws near, you'll begin to sense this sacred filtration system in motion. Things that once felt secure may now begin to feel too small. People who once fit your heart now feel distant. Desires that once ignited you may suddenly fade. Why? Because you're not who you used to be. and your destiny is outgrowing its previous container. This is not destruction, this is divine deconstruction. Much like in architectural engineering, foundations must be recalibrated before a new structure can rise. In seismic zones, buildings are constructed with base isolation, flexible support systems that absorb vibrations from earthquakes. In this spiritual season, God is your base isolation. He is absorbing the tremors so you can rise without collapse. Everything being removed is not punishment. It's to ensure what's built next is quake-proof. Hebrews 12:27 affirms this. The removal of what can be shaken, that is, created things, so that what cannot be shaken may remain. And when release comes, don't resist. It's normal to grieve the shedding. You might cry for a version of yourself you no longer recognize. You may mourn relationships that once defined you, but now feel foreign. These tears are not weakness, they are baptisms in disguise. Let them flow. Let them cleanse. Psalm 126:5 says, "Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy." Your crying is not the end. It's the cultivation of new ground. A deeper harvest is being prepared under every teardrop. And here's the miracle hidden in the morning. The psychological concept of neural pruning reveals that the brain strengthens by letting go old. Unused pathways are trimmed to allow more energy and focus toward higher functioning circuits. Spiritually, you're undergoing the same process. God is pruning mental habits, emotional triggers, even spiritual dependencies that no longer serve your next chapter. This is not just healing, it's optimization. Let's also look at a real-life example. Anna Wojcicki, co-founder of 2, 3 and Me, and a pioneer in biotech entrepreneurship, once said, "You don't grow unless you're willing to lose some stability." Her story shows how breakthroughs in science and in the soul often come after walking away from systems that once felt safe. Anne left the comfort of her investment banking career and took a leap into uncertainty, revolutionizing personal genetics in the process. The same principle applies to your journey. What feels like instability is actually your soul breaking open into innovation. But here's what's even more stunning. This shift is not random. It's a fulfillment, a culmination, a divine equation reaching equilibrium. Romans 8:18 reminds us, the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed. What once looked like delay was actually a holy setup. The breakthrough isn't just coming, it has been building, and now the tension is breaking into transformation. What if everything you endured, every heartbreak, every closed door, every silence was constructing a spiritual architecture that could house what's coming? What if the pain was never pointless, but a sacred scaffolding? You are not stepping into a cute moment. You are stepping into completion, not just a new chapter, but a new genre. This is not a beginning with struggle. This is the manifestation of a promise that once felt like it belonged to someone else's life. Ezekiel 12:28 declares, "None of my words will be delayed any longer. Whatever I say will be fulfilled." This is your time. The doors are no longer locked. The silence has been shattered. Rise, chosen one, not timidly, but with authority. Stand up, wipe your tears, and step boldly into what was tailor-made for you. The promise is real. The season is now, and the future is responding. So here we are, at the edge of the shift, staring into the manifestation of what once felt like an invisible promise. The 22nd of August isn't just a date on the calendar, it's a spiritual milestone, a holy timestamp marking the moment where alignment replaces striving, where discernment sharpens, and where divine timing stops feeling delayed and finally feels delivered. You didn't get here by accident. Every detour, every delay, every tear was recorded in the architecture of heaven, and now you're standing in the resonance of a fulfilled prophecy. This is your moment, not to wait, but to walk, to no longer question whether you're worthy of the next level, but to take it humbly and boldly. If this word stirred your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs confirmation, and drop a yes in the comments if this was your word. And if you've been walking this journey with us, whether you've supported through a super thanks or simply stayed quietly present, I want you to know from the depths of my heart, thank you. Your presence here is felt, seen, and honored. And now, as you step forward, I speak this blessing over you. May clarity go before you. May peace follow behind you. May divine favor find you even in hidden places. And may every door that God has assigned to your name swing open without resistance. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning. Now rise and walk in it.